Okay, so I'm working on a gas stove, so I'm going to show the ingredients here. So if anyone has like an electric stove, your stove will take longer to heat up than mine. So just keep that in mind when I getting stuff ready. You might want to just turn your burners on a little bit ahead of time. So basically with kimchi fried rice, it's important to use leftover 2.5 cups maybe. And the reason you want to use leftover rice is because it has time to like cool down and solidify in the fridge. Because rice is hard, and then once you cook it, it gets soft and it's fully saturated. But once it goes back in the fridge, um, it will. Oh, you know what? I forget if you guys can hear me okay or not. I'm using my Bluetooth mic. I'm gonna switch over to my webcam mic. I forget. So when I did this before, it like cut in and out. So okay, so I'm on my webcam mic now. Hopefully that's better. Yeah, I have with the rice, you want to use leftover rice because it has time to solidify and it's not as fully saturated. And the rice kind of shrinks. So whenever you fry it and it expands again, it's able to like soak in, liquids from like the kimchi and like the oil that you add and things like that. So if you ever just microwave leftover rice, it's kind of dry. And that's part of the reason why. Um, or I mean, it's still pretty moist, but it's not as like moist as when you first cooked it. All right, so to get started with this recipe, you need to get like some 3 garlic cloves, and then I got enoki mushrooms. So these won't require much cook time. So if you're using like baby bella mushrooms or things like that, you want to saute those kind of like ahead of time. Um, so if you just have like fuller mushrooms, you can start sauteing those. Um, Usually those take about like 5 to 7 minutes. You can do it on a medium high heat with some oil. It's not that hard, but with the garlic, what I'm doing here is I should clear this out of the way. Right, here I got gochujang, but if you have kimchi, like from Schnucks or whatever, that comes with like enough kimchi juice in it that you won't need the gochujang. You can just use that. Um, okay, so with the garlic, this one's already peeled, but like this, a lot of garlic will have like the skin on it. And the easy way to get that off is to use the knife blade and you can just push down on it. And then the skin just easily just kind of peels right off right from that. So you can do that with all 3 of your garlic cloves. Um, I unfortunately forgot I ran out of green onions, so I will not be garnishing with green onions. Sad, that's sad for me, but um, life goes on. Can do it without green onions, but um, and so what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the bottom side with the stem and I'm of the garlic nub, and I'm just kind of cutting that off. I do that for all 3 of them, and then I want to crush this one just so it's even with all the rest of them. Okay. And so with the garlic, I go with when I cut with the knife, I go the long way first, because that will reduce in less cuts. So that way, when you go across, there is less like friction in between all the different cuts. And then one thing that I do to keep in mind with holding the knife is I just pinch the blade with my fingertip and my thumb like that. It's kind of awkward at first, but you get used to it. It gives you like more precise control when you're cutting. Since we're just mincing garlic, it's not that big of a deal because you're having even cuts isn't that um, important when you're just mincing things. But if you're like doing Juilliard or just some dicing, then it becomes more important because you want those uniform cuts for consistent cook times and just overall aesthetics and stuff. So I cut along one way and now I pushed it all together so I can come across the other way, and I'm just using both hands here to go on a rocking motion. That just makes it easier for me. Um, I give these tips as just kind of like a technical thing to try out to see if you like it. It's not like a hard rule or anything. Obviously, cooking is an art form, I like to say. You kind of experiment and learn as you go. So now I got some decent cuts set up now. So you can go across. Just what I like to do is I hold one side down and I kind of just rock the blade real fast, and I just go across the top, and the garlic will like kind of spread out as you do it. So you just follow it and then kind of just push it back together with the knife or your hands, whatever you're comfortable with. And then you just do that a couple times, just one way and the other, until you get like maybe of 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch pieces all the way around. I hear somebody cutting in the background there. I had this on presenter view, but other people seem to be popping up. So I don't know what to do about that. Anyway, so we got the garlic all cut up, and now with the enoki mushrooms, I've already rinsed these. Things you want to rinse in particularly are just like all your vegetables, but like especially things that grow in dirt or like on like questionable dirt, such as mushrooms. Um, so like your onions, carrots, and potatoes, those all you'd want to wash. Okay, so I got the garlic done. So my kimchi's already came pretty cut up. It's like you want kind of like small bite-sized pieces, so kind of like the size of your thumb maybe. But mine's already cut up. So if yours isn't cut up, you can take it out, and then you want to save the kimchi juice for later if you have that, and then just kind of loosely cut the kimchi up. So I'm trying to see if I'm forgetting anything. So for the enoki mushrooms, I'm going to save these until the end because these are really thin and they cook up really fast and they will turn into nothing basically if you cook them too early. So I'm gonna save those for the end. So now I'm gonna switch over to the stove. So I'm gonna move the camera. Okay. So I got a big old wok here. It's great for fried rice because you never know how much space you're gonna need when you add all your vegetables. So this just has me covered. Um, so I'm gonna turn the burner on. If you got your electric stove, you should have already heated up your pan a little bit by now. So recipe just calls for like a tablespoon of olive oil. All recipes say that. Depending on the size of your pan, you just need to get the bottom of it covered. So you just throw in a good amount so where you don't obviously don't want too much, but just enough to have the bottom of the pan covered with no exposed surface. So I'm gonna wait to heat up because with vegetables in general, when you saute them on oil, if you put it in right away when the oil isn't hot, the oil will seep into the vegetable. And then that will make it to where when you eat it, it kind of tastes more oil than the actual vegetable, or like 50-50, and that's not really the flavor you're going for. So by letting it heat up, it's kind of like a cauterizing effect. It's gonna close those pores and prevent the oil from seeping in, and then it'll just start kind of crisping up, um, as quickly as possible. So I'm moving the oil around just to kind of look at it because when it first comes out, it's the viscosity is kind of low, but as it heats up, it increases, which means it kind of just gets like the consistency of water. And so what I like to do to test that the heat is ready, you just put a little bit of the vegetable in. So I can see in here that it's sizzling. You can kind of see it moving in the pan. That's how you know it's ready. So I'm doing like a medium high heat for this. Um, High heat is really just for like getting a hot sear on the outside of a fish or like a steak or something like that. Almost all the time I do medium high for sauteing vegetables. Okay. I realized I might have done this in the wrong order. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this up. The garlic, you're gonna want to wait until it starts to smell like garlic, because just release the fragrances, because if you cook it too long, it will get bitter. So now I'm just adding the kimchi now. Um, and basically with the kimchi, it's already been fermented, and I'm trying to speak louder now because it's loud with the oil and sizzling, but basically, kimchi, as you might have heard, is like rich in probiotics, which is like good for gut health. And you can get any probiotics come in like supplements, and they come in lots of other things, such as like yogurt, sauerkraut, pickles. Think of like anything that's like fermented. the kombucha too. This kimchi here is purple cabbage. It's the Napa cabbage, and I got this from this place called Confluence Kombucha. So they sell kimchi, all kinds of things. So kimchi cabbage, kimchi green tomatoes, and even some kimchi carrots. They're on South Jefferson, so I recommend you check them out if you want to get some probiotic rich food, as well as kombucha is also rich in probiotics and good for you. Um, so basically, I'm just letting this cook for a little bit. I'm gonna see if it's heated up. Yeah, it feels pretty hot. So we're getting into pretty much just the fried rice part of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna want to start our egg. So I got another pan over here. I see there's a message in the chat, so I'll check that in a minute once I get the egg going. All right, so I got another pan here for the egg, which has a little bit of kimchi in it. I don't know why that's there. Okay, so for the egg, you can have a non-stick pan. If you have stainless steel, there's some non-stick spray you can use, or just a little bit of oil, or rub some butter, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna put the burner on low. It's like a medium low for this one. Kind of go this. Actually, I'm gonna do a low because this is the power burner, and those have bigger flames. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and crack my eggs in this right away. There's no really need to wait for it to get hot because I'm doing 2 eggs because I want the extra protein. You can, depending on how many servings you're gonna do, you want 1 egg per serving at least. And I'm gonna just go ahead and put the lid on that. And you don't need to wait for it to get hot because we want to get it cooked on all sides evenly. Okay, so this kimchi is ready. It is all cooked up. All that kimchi. So I'm gonna add my rice now. So the rice, it's gonna be like one big block. So you want to kind of get that all broken up. I just kind of use the bottom side of my spatula. This one's round, so it's kind of hard to do. But it'll eventually all break up. And so if you have that kimchi juice, you want to measure out like a 1/4 cup of the kimchi juice. And then once you get your rice all broken up, you add that as well. But you want to make sure you have your rice all evenly broken up. So my headset's giving me the low battery. That just means I won't have audio, but none of you are talking, so that's okay. My microphone will still work because that's the webcam. I want to get this all evenly spaced out, and then I'll check that message. So I haven't added the mushroom. Sorry about that. Okay. So sorry. So I haven't added the mushrooms yet, and that's intentional because I'm doing the enoki mushrooms. But for those who have like baby Bella, if you have those sauteed, you should have had them started sauteing them while we were doing this. I know it's kind of a lot to do all at once. But those are good to add now. You can because you wanted them to kind of soften up and get cooked, and then you need to add them in now to get the it all mixed in with the rice, and then when you add that gochujang or that kimchi juice, it'll soak all that in too. Okay, so my rice is all broken up. I'm gonna check that message real quick to see if there's a question. Sorry for being late on that. Open. Okay. Oh no, it was just appreciate the tips. Okay, thank you. Like message. So I'm checking the eggs right now. It's important to keep the lid on the eggs because you want to keep that heat in. And I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit because I don't really see it cooking as fast as I want it to. Okay, so I'm going to add the gochujang to mine now. And basically you just want to get it to your own spice level preference. The gochujang is super spicy for any of you who haven't had it yet. You might want to just try some on its own. But for me, I know I'm going to want like a good tablespoon. So that's what this kind of looks like. I don't know. So I'm going to just throw that in and just mix that in. And it's a paste, so it's gonna take a little bit for it to get all mixed around. But with the kimchi juice, that should just go in right away. Um, and so with the gochujang, you should see the rice will start turning like a red or orange. And that's how you know it's spreading around good. So yeah, we're only like 17 minutes into this, and we're almost done. So you can see how quick and easy fried rice is to do. So this is just if you ever have leftover rice, you should be thinking, I can make fried rice. So if there's anything to take away from this, it should be like leftover rice means fried rice. I used if I wanted to make fried rice before, I would be like, oh, I'm just gonna cook some rice and then I'm gonna make fried rice with that. But it's better with leftover rice for the reasons I said earlier. Okay, so this looks good. This would be a good time to like taste your food. Okay, yeah, that's a good spice level to me. So I'm happy with that. I'm checking my eggs. What you can do to kind of check the eggs for their doneness is to like shake the pan a little bit. So let's see if I can show you that. There's too much like fog and condensation to actually see the eggs. But like, if you look closely, you can like shake. Oh, I guess it. Okay, you can like shake the pan, and then you can see the yolk. So mine are done actually. I just tapped mine, and you can kind of just feel it. The edges should be kind of jammy, and then the center will be like kind of runny still, and that's the way you want it. So I'm gonna turn my burner off. Well, actually, I need to leave it on still. I'm gonna turn it back on. I need to add these mushrooms. So with the enoki mushrooms, I'm just gonna show this real quick. Um, there's a side with like the stems on it, and you just kind of cut that off, get that out, and then these should just start to separate, and and then you kind of just spread them all out into the pan. So let's back up here. Okay. All right. So put these, just kind of sprinkle these on. The package I got was actually like a 200-gram package, so I just split that in half, and I took the bigger half. So your bunch looks a little smaller than mine. That would be why. All right, so that's all separated pretty much, and all the chunks out. All right, so this you just mix up like everything else we've ever done. We just mix everything. Fried rice is just one simple. All right, go to change. Give me, just one simple motion. Go from the middle, go from the sides, don't just do the same motion. Mix it up to where nothing gets left unturned. Um, you want to let these mushrooms cook for like a couple minutes. They'll start to wilt really quick. Uh, these enoki mushrooms are often like found in like ramen too. They just get added in raw to the broth when it's being served. So they cook really easy. Okay, these mushrooms are looking done. They start turning into like spaghetti noodles or like some ramen noodles, basically. They get really stringy. They turn into like some kind of hair. I don't know. I would show you, but they just fall apart. So all right, so we're good on the rice now. So I turned the burner off. We're good this time. I'm gonna get a bowl for plating. Um, all right, so I just got a bowl like this, and you just put kind of 1 or 2 scoops, depending on your ladle size and how hungry you are. Um, try and keep a little bit. I don't want to fill it to the rim because I still have to garnish. For those that have green onions, I will not be joining you on that part, but I think you know what to do. You just cut them up into like 1/4 inch pieces and then you sprinkle them on. But I do that at the end. Gonna need a spatula for these eggs. It's flat, so I got this is a fish spatula. So for the eggs, I can move these center here. Walk out of the way. I'm not gonna do the eggs. I'm a little unorganized here. Okay, so not gonna do the eggs just yet, but we're gonna take two of these seaweed wraps. Let's move this down here for a second so you can see it better. And you kind of just what I like to do is I just crumple them up, and then they just fall into like little pieces at the end, and that's how you get them on here. I like seaweed flakes, so dry roasted seaweed or whatever it's called. Um, here's the package if you want to see that. I get it. You can get it at Costco. That's what I got it at. But they also serve it at Schnucks and stuff. And then here are like the sesame seeds I have. So these would go on after the seaweed flakes or before. That's just you want it in contact with the rice, not with the egg. So um, that's how that's done. And then for the pretty presentation, I recommend just doing like one egg on top because that's really all that's going to fit in the bowl. So it'll look like that. And then you would garnish with the green onion on top of it, but this is the kimchi fried rice. It's missing the green, kind of give it more of that pop of color, but it's got nice colors with the purple and the seaweed flakes. And then the sesame seeds shining through, give it a nice texture too. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, I told you it was gonna be a quick 30 minutes. It's actually, so we've been going for 24 minutes now. So uh, now you know how to make kimchi fried rice. It's not that difficult and it's really tasty too. So and you get to not and you get to say you cook Korean food. So um yeah, thanks for joining everybody. I'm gonna go enjoy my food. I hope if you're cooking along, I hope you do too. If there's any questions, now would be a good time to ask them, but I haven't seen any since I'm just gonna save this for another serving later. I haven't seen any since I've been going. So all right, well, thanks everybody. And have a good day. I'm gonna go in the other room, shut it off. Bye.